Welcome everyone to another episode of the Human Experience podcast. This is your host Eldin Hassa. I'm very excited that my guest is joining us today from Australia, from down under. We've known each other for a while, and she is known as a courage super lady who has been doing some amazing work with her books, with her podcast, with her coaching, with her programs. Welcome, Pix Jonasson, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I believe. She recently released a book about courage. The basically her podcast is COURAGEpreneur. She's been
hmm
running that for a number of years, and she has these amazing insights and stories to share with our amazing audience on her human experience, how she survived multiple life-threatening experiences, and she shouldn't be alive, but she's now here
I'm
to
still
share
here.
with everyone and to inspire humanity through her one-to-one coaching, speaking, mentoring in business as well as life coaching. So welcome, Pix.
Thank you, Eldin. Really appreciate that. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be a guest on your wonderful podcast, The Human Experience.
Yes, yeah, we've known each other. I followed your work for a number of years, and yes, you am I pronouncing your surname correctly?
Close enough. It's actually quite phonetic. It's Jonasson. So Pix
Oh,
Jonasson.
Jonasson. Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
easy. Okay, so I guess in Europe they pronounce it differently, because your ancestors, they are from Europe.
Yes, Swedish. Yeah. Well, it's by marriage, so and also by divorce, but I still kept
Right.
my married name, Eldin.
Hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us, what inspired you to be where you are today?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Eldon. I've had several rings around the sun, had a few birthdays, and I've always wanted to have, do, be, and give more. And finding your purpose, I think, is something that a lot of people struggle with. And as you touched on, I've had three life-threatening car accidents. The first one was when I was 7, and we hit a truck, and sadly and tragically, my grandmother was killed. My mum's mum. My mum was driving. And then when I was about 26, I had another car accident. We hit another truck. And then, that was life threatening. And then only 10 weeks to the day after that one, I had a micro sleep because I was absolutely exhausted. And I had another accident, rolled a car down an embankment. And it was that third life threatening and hopefully final car accident where I climbed out of the car, kicked my way through, climbed up the embankment, and I thought, why did I survive? Not why did this happen? I knew exactly why. I was tired. I had that 2 p.m. sun coming in, micro sleep, overcorrected. But I thought, why did I survive? And it took me a long time to find my purpose. And then, even more tragically, our family lost my nephew to suicide. And I thought, out of this tragedy, something positive has to come. And so I've been on this journey of courage, and my maiden name was Cumming. So I had a lot of courage growing up with that. And the family motto is a lion. So hence you can see I'm branded as the Couragepreneur, and my motto is a lion. And that's why I've written a book, Eldon, because like you, I'm an avid consumer of personal development, whether that be podcasts, audio books, the like. And so I wanted to leave a generational legacy. And my dad always drummed communication into me. Hence, I'm very much like you, a content creator, visually, auditory as well. So it was during COVID, I went, something has to come out of all this global hysteria. And so I literally was in the shower one time and I'd already had the concept for a book, but I had this epiphany. I went, a crash course in courage, 7 steps to a mentally fit you. And voila, November last year, I'm the proud author of a book.
Amazing, amazing. And it's available on Amazon and like worldwide, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah.
What we will do, we will share all the links
Thank you. Hmm.
in the comment section of this podcast. So if people want to, follow you on social media,
Yep.
read some of your amazing articles, as well as purchase your book or hire you for your services, we'll put all of that
Hmm.
comments. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'd like you to tell us. I know during COVID, you we're doing a lot of work with, because people just the mental health went
Mm.
sort of on a rapid decline globally.
Mm.
And I know you
Mm.
said to yourself, okay, I have these skill sets and I need to help my community. And I know you've had these meditations on the beach
Hmm.
and things like that. And it's not just about like making money, it's about serving. How can I
Oh,
be?
it's giving back. And on a previous podcast of mine that I interviewed the wonderful Simon Reynolds. I was thinking Simon Sinek. That's a life goal, but Simon Reynolds. And he said, Pix, the heart that gives gathers. The
Yeah.
heart that gives gathers. And again, like you're so generous with your content, your time, and everything. And, it does fill up my cup as well when I give to others.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think what people tend to overlook is that, I know a lot of people as so do you. And when I see some of people's content is the 50 videos into the scroll of on their kind of LinkedIn or somewhere, because now LinkedIn is trying to become like almost like a new TikTok. It's like video, video,
Yes.
video,
Yeah. Yes.
and so now um I said to the guy, all I see is you are selling 50, 60 videos for the last few weeks, selling, selling. Sometimes you post 4 to 6 videos. And he's like, oh, yeah, but Alex Hermosi said you got to be posting like, 300 pieces of content a month. And I say, yeah, but Alex Hermosi is not selling. If you look at his videos, he has a call to action, but he is delivering something of value. And I say,
Value and content, yes, that people
videos,
can
your
take and
videos
implement.
have mainly selling, 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 and very little. So I say, if you mix it up, then you'll be better at it. And he's like, well, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. So then he tried it, and this is a friend, so I didn't charge him for it. And he's just
Yes.
like started to actually close more deals
Yeah.
because then, so
Well, people don't want to be sold to, Eldon.
if it's a salesy video, nobody's going to share
Mm.
it. But if it's an impactful, relatable video where you're sharing your story, like how I did it, as you shared about your, the last car accident, how you walked away, the car rolled,
Mm.
like you wouldn't,
Mm.
you know, I don't even know how you came out of it alive,
To be honest, nor do I. Yes.
you were like just protected by a higher power, all I can say. So you can actually serve humanity with your unique gifts, right? And
Hmm.
so, like people say, well, like, who am I to? And I said, listen, you have a specific flavor, authentic, specific flavor that only you can speak the way you speak. Only you can sprinkle that
Hmm.
fairy dust in your own way. And the reality is, as you say, you're an avid learner, so am I, and I traveled around the world, and I came to a conclusion as a scientist, there's only one truth. And the truth is, it's been known for thousands of years. It's just back in the day, they used a different language, the
Yep.
language of Buddha, the language of those days. And now
Hmm.
use the language of the science to actually confirm the same truth. So you're not going to be saying something new unless there was some new scientific discovery, like from quantum physics and things like that. But even that is just reaffirming what the truth was thousands of years ago. But
Yes.
your flavor, your fairy dust in your light that you shine on those words, on the tonality, on the emotions, on the engagement, your authenticity is how you say it, what you say, your writing style of your book. And,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, courage, it takes a lot of courage. But at the same time, it requires development of a skill set because, you know, you and I are here, seasoned podcasters. We've interviewed hundreds
Yes.
of people. We've done so many shows. We appeared on so many podcasts as guests as well. But it didn't come naturally day one, did
No, no, absolutely.
So tell us about how was your journey to become so courageous as you are today? What was it in
Yeah.
comparison?
Mm, I think the real a couple of defining moments were obviously the third car accident when I was really searching for a higher purpose. Rather than, focusing on myself, I wanted to give. And then COVID was another really big epiphany. It's like because you and I are on the same page, we know that, there's a greater agenda at play. And I thought, if people that are confident and competent in speaking, if they don't speak now, what is the hope for general humanity?
Yeah,
So I started to use my voice more internationally, more globally, more purposefully for, global issues where normally I would shy away and be not the passionate advocate that I am. But then, as I said, in COVID, it's like something needs to change. People need to know the truth, whatever their views are. They need to make educated decisions and use critical thinking. And so COVID was probably the most recent game changer for me when I thought something good has to come out of this for me personally, but also for my community and, like you, the people that follow us, Eldon.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It's kind of like, my wife used to say, like, Eldin, be careful, like the politics, like you gotta be like PC. And I was like, look,
Hmm.
the reality is that I'm gonna upset some people. And if I'm not upsetting anybody, it means that I'm not being
You're not
authentic.
making a difference.
No, I'm not being authentic. So it's
Yes.
like, look, this is me. This is what I stand for. I'm an advocate for this. I am for health and safety of children. I am
Hmm.
for my own health. I am for sovereignty. You got to be a
Hmm.
sovereign human being that you can choose what you eat, what you drink, what you put on your skin, what
Your
you
bodies.
put you inside your body, whether it's through
Hmm.
pills or injections or whatever. You like this is what democracy is, and nobody can legally look. I follow the law. My wife is a very powerful lawyer, and I say to her, look,
Hmm.
you're a lawyer, so I'm just speaking from the legal perspective that no one can force you, and if they force you, it's a rape, basically, as simple as that. If somebody, shivs you with a, I don't know, Stanley knife or a screwdriver, they're gonna get arrested for attempted murder.
Hmm.
But if somebody
Mm.
is trying to force you to stab you with something else, they're like, oh no, it's medical. Like, no, I'm sorry.
Coercive
I
control, yes.
it's not my consent, right? So
Hmm.
I'm an advocate for. I'm not saying to anyone, look, do this and do that and follow me, what I'm saying as a gospel. I'm just saying informed consent should be a human right. And if people wish to educate themselves, do your own research and make your own mind up. But I stand for this. This is my truth because I've done 3 decades of research before I open
Yeah.
my mouth. And I was like in the
Yes.
shadows talking to like-minded people, not
Hmm.
publicly. But now I was like, this is public. And this is the reason why my YouTube with 87,000 subscribers got deleted after the
Mm.
strike 1 and 2 and 3. And actually,
Yes.
the last time it was like
Freedom
multiple
of
strikes. And
speech
they
and
just
bodily
deleted.
autonomy.
And Instagram with over 100,000 followers got deleted. And it took me like 18 months to get my name back, my username, which is my first and second name, like without gaps. And so now I have it back. And luckily, people found me again. And in from like having 8 months ago, 700 followers. Now I've got like 24,000 on Instagram, my
Mm-hmm.
original account, but that got deleted and it was an Instagram that I used for business with advertisement. So I would email
Mm.
Instagram, say, listen, I'm a business owner and I've
Yes.
spent thousands of pounds, dollars on advertising, and you can see, and they said, no, it's a, what, fact checkers, whatever. But now the Meta owner, or Facebook as we know it, came out and say, yeah, I've been forced to censor everybody, and now and also, mind you, even this new 2.0 Zuckerberg, I am actually suspicious that there is some baloney in there, because a person cannot change from, there is some agenda there again from,
Mm-hmm.
what is the
Who he
agenda?
was to who he is.
I don't know. We'll see. The time will tell. But do not, people cannot change that much. There's somebody which is more powerful than him has told him this is what you need to say. You need to change the narrative and present yourself in that way. Listen, I just know what the history has been doing for humanity, and there was always somebody like that person. Even, Elon Musk is painted as a saint, but even he, I think we need to watch and really keep an eye on, kind of like a magic trick when the magician is showing you, hey, look at my left hand, in order
Sleight
to
of
make
hand.
the right hand something appear or disappear. I'm actually not looking at the left hand. I'm looking at what is he trying to take my attention away from. That's what I'm, and this is with Zuckerberg, with Musk, with anybody like that. And being of that mindset has actually served me very well and kept
Mm-hmm.
me healthy and my family, and in every possible way, So
I
I
think we have
just
to be
go out there.
curious and like question everything these days, Eldon. You know,
Who
can
who
we
is
trust the
benefiting,
sources?
going to profit from,
Mm.
like I would go and say, look, Dr. Bruce Lipton, right? So Dr. Bruce
Yes.
Lipton, he goes and says he's obviously an expert, but mainly in biology. So he talks about the cells, how our body is a miraculous machine, has its ability to
Healing
heal itself,
itself.
and
Mm-hmm.
you need to upregulate the gene expression, downregulate, for healing, all of that. So literally a 5-minute clip of his long video I posted on Facebook, and Facebook kept deleting it and saying, warning, we're going to delete your account. And this was during COVID, and it wasn't my
Mm.
opinion. This is an expert, and it was a peer-reviewed science. It's not my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, 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 misinformation. How is it misinformation if it's a peer-reviewed science? And he's a
Yes.
godfather of epigenetics, which, when I tell people that only a couple of diseases are actually hereditary, which is type 1 diabetes, maybe sickle cell anemia, and maybe one or two other ones, and 99.9% of chronic conditions are all down to environment. They're not, you cannot actually, if there is no gene cancer, it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So if your mother and grandmother has had a breast cancer age 43, it doesn't mean as a daughter you will get it age 43. But what they discovered is that when a woman age 40 begins the 3-year process of dreading heading into the age 43, what is she doing? She's creating environment through her thoughts and feelings,
Yeah.
doom and gloom,
Worry,
and
anxiety,
rehearsing, I'm on
expectation.
the verge of getting, and she's creating acidic environment in her body. She's down regulating the immune system, her genes for healing, up regulating genes to get disease. And eventually, self-fulfilling prophecy, she goes for a scan, age 43, she has cancer. But then what they never shared publicly, if you got to spend like 7 days to find this peer-reviewed science, what they found is that there are ladies who have an opposite mindset. and they say, okay, they've been told by age 40, by age 50, by age 38, they will get breast cancer. But those ladies, they don't believe in that.
Choose to ignore it.
And no, they're just like, no, it's not possible because I've studied epigenetics, because I've read the books and I studied the science from Dr. Bruce Lipton and people like that. So I will have a healthy and happy life until I'm 95. And then
Mm-hmm.
5 years later from the D-Day, they're still healthy, no cancer. And so the scientists have actually studied those ladies and their genes and their, in blood tests and all the markers. And they say, well, there you go. It's not hereditary. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And
Yes,
it's,
yes,
it's,
yes.
it's that,
Well, the power of the mind, and you're a
yeah.
neuroscientist, you know all
Yes,
about
and
that,
so
Eldin.
when you actually delve really, really deep into this, it's what are you believing? What
Mm-hmm.
are you believing without curiosity, without analysis, without question?
Yeah.
And for every truth, which is the factual truth based on the peer-reviewed science, there are some quacks, bloggers with a lot of followers who would go and say something in opposition. But I say to
To
people,
debunk it.
go and see who is their sponsor. Go and see who's their sponsor. And this is how you, like, apparently, Gwyneth Paltrow, her company in America, they aired a show about how average woman puts 520 chemicals on her skin daily because of the makeup. And
Mm-hmm.
that went viral everywhere, and it was blocked in the UK not to be shown as that episode, like a documentary. So what happened within 24 hours, all these quack bloggers, they went and debunked it. And then when you do the research to see who's sponsoring their YouTube channel, it's the pharmaceutical and cosmetic,
Big pharma. Mm-hmm.
big pharma and cosmetic, same company basically, the pharma
Mm-hmm.
cosmetics. And then there's like, no, 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 that is wrong. It was a HBO show. It was a big TV station which was airing the Gwyneth Paltrow's documentary about how, damaging, because when you put it on the skin, it goes straight to your bloodstream, and
Mm-hmm.
it causes
Yeah, well,
cancer.
your skin's your largest organ.
Yeah. It causes cancer, affects your endocrine system, your thyroid, causes infertility, your kidneys, your lungs, your liver, and then, this is what is making you sick. Not, not like, obviously there are other things, you are eating and drinking nonsense and, and all of that, and not exercising and, being in a perpetual state of fight or flight, having no courage to show up, like, kind of like, I need a permission to be alive,
Yes, yeah.
you know. So tell us, a story of something that you've seen in the last few years with some of the people that you have worked, how there was a pain point which they've been experiencing. It's usually these general pain points, you have
Mm-hmm.
commonality with clients, whether it's like in the personal life or in the business, and how by shifting certain things with your advice, with your guidance, they've actually changed.
Yeah, thanks, Eldon. Well, if I can share one experience, I had a client and she knows her craft, right? And she was struggling a little bit financially, and she kept saying, "Why can't I get to where I want to go? And why aren't I attracting the clients like I deserve?" Fully knows, her craft, as I said. And so we had some coaching sessions, and I suggested for her to actually create invisible appointments in her diary. So actually clear space for that client to appear. We're all about energy and vibration, law of attraction, all that, Eldon. And so she changed her mindset. She had to reframe her mind from why aren't I to how can I? And then she was very open minded. And in her paper diary, she created like invisible appointments. She blocked out upcoming coaching sessions. And then within weeks, or even sooner than that, she started filling them. clients started coming to her because she'd opened up her mind as well as opening up her diary. So that was one really good game changer. And then obviously her business started turning around and she was, cash flow positive and creating more revenue for her. Just basically these clients seemed to appear from out of thin air. She was getting referrals, she was getting, new repeat business from long, clients. And so that was a really lovely story of a client just being open-minded to open up her heart, open up her mind, and literally open up her diary.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, like the kind of like reframing the narrative in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. The first one was I'm a victim. Why is this happening to me?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, scarcity and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like with her energy resonance repelling what she actually wants to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And by changing that into, and not just like mechanistically writing and blocking things in the diary, but also changing her energy resonance, like kind of like
Mm-hmm.
to feel as if this is actually happening right now,
And
right?
deserving of it and
Yeah,
attracting it
yeah, yeah.
rather than repelling it.
So her emotional signature changed. You know, as in like I am from like I don't have it, and kind of maybe anger, resentment, worry, insecurity, to I'm grateful. This is actually
Mm-hmm.
now I've blocked it. Coaching session, client coaching session, coaching call.
Yes.
And then actually she's embodying that emotion, and even like consciously or unconsciously visualizing that actually being experienced with her five
Mm-hmm.
senses, right? And
Getting into the state of allowing that to happen and
yes,
manifesting it.
and soon after, what was the process? You know, for the listeners and viewers, it's the time that it takes to bridge the gap between where you are to where you want to be. It's the time that you suspend any and all doubt and disbelief
Mm-hmm.
that is possible for you. So it's not so much, oh, will this work? Is you got to focus on to identify, do you still have any emotions of scarcity, insecurity, disbelief, doubt that you deserve it, that is possible for you? And are you aligning the intention of what you're trying to achieve with the elevated emotion of gratitude, with
Mm-hmm.
certainty in every cell of your being that is actually
Yeah, that's the thing.
already
You
done?
touched on that word certainty, Eldon, because you can do all the visualizations and manifestations and that, but unless you clear somatically within your body,
Yes.
opening up and allowing that and fully knowing, with every fiber of your being that you are deserving of that, it's a real challenge to actually make that happen.
Yeah. And what I also found is that people tend to practice kind of positive, beneficial rituals to align their emotional state, to regulate their nervous system when things are going great in their life. And they find time, you know, they're kind of very
That's
motivated.
so true.
And then something happens, boom, I don't know, tax bill, or I don't know, some challenge financially, or like some business deal. There is a challenge. Could be, you know, bereavement in the family, illness, maybe their own health, or maybe usually it's finance, or could be relationship, like struggles with boyfriend, girlfriend, or divorce, or, you know, from marriage. So when crises happened, it's the time
They
when
dropped the
people
ball.
should
Mm.
actually do more of it, you know, as the saying goes, like when if everything is great in your life, and you have a lot of time, do 20 minutes of meditations a day.
Yes,
And
yes.
if you are so busy and so scattered and you got so many
Do
problems,
2 hours.
yeah, yeah. And people say, but how? Like, actually, you got to do less to do more to get more done, because you know, as a
Mm,
neuroscientist, I can tell you when you are in that state, you have zero creativity. You actually feel very stuck, almost
hmm.
incapacitated and overwhelmed by that one thing. Could be a tax bill, could be whatever. In the UK, they changed some real estate property law, taxation
Laws.
law,
Hmm.
and where there were certain ways that you can save some money in your capital gains tax, and they call it stamp duty, which is the government
Hmm.
tax when you buy and sell in real estate. All of that changed to now making it almost impossible, and actually you kind of like end up paying 2-3 times the tax.
Oh,
So
the amount of taxes that we pay,
it's like
it's
for the
we're
people
taxed on
to
everything.
understand. If you're a business owner in real estate and you pay tax on the corporation tax on $1 million, let's say.
Hmm.
Then when you take some of that cash from the company to the director, you pay another 40% tax. So basically,
Tax.
already 60%, maybe 70% tax on your million. So you basically left with about 300,000, four hundred
Yeah.
thousand out of a million.
Mm.
So people say millionaire. No, like
No.
but you basically, it's a highest paying tax country in the world, I think, like, and the high bracket of paying tax is, I think, above 55,000, which is pounds, which is nothing. Like in many
Hmm.
countries, is after several $100,000.
100,000. Yes.
Like in America, it's, I think, after above $375,000, and it doesn't go above 30%. It's crazy. And then obviously some countries have no tax. So like when you've used to doing business a certain way, and then the government changes some legislation about taxation, then your margins get diluted, and you still have
Hmm.
same, actually you don't have same overheads. You have higher overheads because cost of living is higher.
Has increased. Hmm.
And then you can choose option A, you lose your shit completely, and you actually begin to actually develop some chronic condition because you are in a state of stress, and you feel like you have no options, no solutions, like, or you can go back to your basics, do your meditation, do your breath work, do your journaling, go see
Hmm.
a therapist, go see a coach, go exercise, eat healthy, you know. And when people are like that, they know they don't feel good. So what they do is they opt out for eating some dodgy food. They opt
Hmm.
out to like drink more alcohol, maybe take some drugs, and all of that makes them feel better temporarily, but does not address the root cause of the
It's
problem.
just a mask. It's just a cover.
Just like Band-Aid, right? And so,
Hmm.
and then you say to people, well, do you know these things? Yes, I know. And I said, why don't you do them? Like it's hard because, I know why it's hard, because I was actually teaching a business client yesterday. I said, the automatic habits in your brain require zero energy. Zero energy. Your brain doesn't involve any energy. They spread
Hmm.
around the body. It's like autopilot, right? Now, even the negative, detrimental habitual behaviors require zero energy because they become automatic. Now, when you
Habits.
start to introduce these new positive habits, eating healthy, exercising 4 5 times
New muscle
a week,
memory.
whatever, the brain uses 25% more energy than if it was running on these automatic habits. This is why people don't follow through in the New Year's resolutions and in their goals, because it literally, you feel energetically drained every time you're trying to change these negative habits. And the
Hmm.
process, it's 6 to 8 weeks. It Well, according to University College London, they say on average 66 days. So it's about 2.5, 3 months.
Hmm.
Takes the time for the brain to develop a new positive habit,
New
so it
neural
becomes automatic.
pathway.
So it becomes automatic. It solidifies as the clusters. It's not like, so neural pathways are created even for you watching this podcast, listening to this podcast. But
Hmm.
you don't use this knowledge and repeat it. You don't use it. You don't apply it. It prunes away, this dissolves and disappears within hours, within days. That's why repetition, neuroplasticity is required over a period of time until it becomes automatic. And then when it becomes automatic, then no energy is required.
Mm-hmm.
There is that, kind of like to and fro, almost like people label it like there is a devil and the angel, and the devil is saying blah, 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 all the nonsense, all the disempowering negative stuff, and the angel is saying you can do this. Well, you can label it like that, but it's actually these negative disempowering programs, and the positive ones you're trying to make as an automatic habit. And so while you are doing that process, it takes 2-3 months. And when you actually reach that, then this voice subsides and disappears because you've actually deleted that software out of the brain. It's not there anymore. And this
Mm-hmm.
could feel like 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. But I say to them, have courage, and have um, the will and desire to be consistent. And the only way you can do that is by having a strong, compelling why. Without it,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be like, yeah, like I should do this, I should do that. I mean, there's a joke that you should all over
You
yourself.
stop shooting on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, stop shooting
Yes.
all over yourself, because it's just a wish. It's not a, you know, and as you said, your life changed because you've had a strong, compelling why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And you had this innate belief in every cell of your being that you are here for a purpose of serving humanity, from
Mm.
just being your authentic self, using your voice, using your writing, using your everything else that you are doing, your coaching and everything.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate what you're doing for
Excuse me.
humanity.
Yeah. And one other driving force, Eldon, and I know you know part of my backstory, is I'm an adult survivor of child sexual abuse. Excuse me. And I did not want, and full disclosure, it was not a family member, nor did my parents know anything about it till it was disclosed when I was age 11. So, growing up with that, I knew that I didn't want others to go through what I'd gone through. And I didn't want them to live, and you touched on it before, Eldon, about being that victim. I didn't want to be a victim. And that is an absolute mindset. And yes, I do understand that some people don't understand the full workings of the brain and manifestation and all that. But I want to get my story out there of hope and inspiration, and obviously courage to go, this is what's happened to me. It's made me who I was, but it doesn't define me. It doesn't project my future. It's my driving force for being such a passionate advocate for child safety, and also as an adult of child sexual abuse, living my best life. So that's another driving force. And, it is very deep, but I do know the statistics in Australia, and I dare say it wouldn't be any different really in the UK or USA. And for your audience, your listeners, it's 1 in 3 girls up to age 18 and 1 in 6 boys. And that's only the numbers that are reported. So they would be much higher, like 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 6 boys. Those statistics are horrendous. And the more we talk about it and normalize the conversations around these tough topics, the more chances we've got of child safety. And I know that's a passion of yours too, Eldon, child
Yes.
safety.
And it
With your
happens.
own gorgeous boy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 3 years of age now,
Yeah.
3 years and 4 months. And with child safety also, what I'd like to share, this is public knowledge, and this is only public knowledge to a degree of the cases that actually came forward and people have been
Mm-hmm.
prosecuted. I'm talking about boarding schools. I'm talking about
Institutionalized.
religious institutions.
Mm-hmm.
There is one which it's not a public knowledge, but I am very close friend with one of the gentlemen who went to boarding school for boys, and he had to have 20 years of therapy because of the trauma. He was not the one of the receiving end of the abuse, he was a witness of his little kids,
Mm,
friends, little children, boys
mm,
sexually abused in the boarding school. I'm talking about like, 100,000 Australian dollars a year type boarding school, like best in the UK type school.
gosh.
And and he had to have the therapy because of what he witnessed. And it
Mm,
happened to a couple of his best friends, and he said happened to multiple children, not just two of his best
mm,
friends. And imagine this happened through generations and generations and generations. So there are many institutions out there that we as adults, who are parents, we send our children with
oh,
the
you
best
put your trust and your
intention.
faith in
Yeah,
them.
yeah, you put your trust and your faith into sending them to get the education, to get, um, all of these things that is required to be in society, right? Um, but then these things happen, and they are happening daily. They are happening around
Hmm.
the world, and obviously we've got child trafficking
I was just going to
uh,
say child trafficking is actually bigger than drug trafficking
and I
because
actually,
children are a commodity. They can
yeah,
be bought and sold and bought and sold.
but
Drugs you utilize
the
once.
child trafficking, what they do, so there is an organization in America called Child's Help, which is actually a global organization. It's been around for 50 odd years. And I actually know the founders. Their family were the biggest chicken farmers in the United States, like, like billionaires, basically. The lady, she's still alive. She's in her early 90s.
Hmm.
And she was the founder of the Child's Help. She's still on the board, but doesn't do day-to-day business. And this is not public knowledge, but I'm happy to share. When the war in Ukraine kicked off, what her and her team did, I'm talking about, there are thousands of employees in Child's Help organization. They actually have former CIA people working for them, former police chiefs, and all of that, like people
Hmm.
like intelligence officers, right?
Hmm.
And they found the child trafficking ring in Ukraine just at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, and they
Mm.
saved thousands of children. And this is from the horse's mouth. What they do with these children is they often are sold for organs.
Yes.
Basically, the child is a commodity, the liver, the heart, the kidneys, and then obviously there are other aspects where they use them in their sacrifice, in the ritual sacrifice,
I know.
for sexual and other kind of rituals. But eventually, most of these kids, they end up as donors for the organs, and that market is huge, apparently.
Mm.
And it's just, and in numbers, we're talking about million to 1.2 million children a year. We're not talking
Hmm.
about, a few thousand. We're
Small
talking about,
numbers. Well,
you
one
know,
child's one too many, let
yeah,
alone,
yeah.
1.2 million.
It's just crazy. And, and people say,
Mm.
well, if this is happening, it would be on the news. No, it wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, we know mainstream media, don't we,
It
Eldon?
wouldn't. And just for the context, why it wouldn't, because the 98% of the revenue for the media channels, the news channels, and TV channels, comes from advertisements and majority of that advertisement revenue comes from uh, pharmaceutical industry and food
Farmer.
industry.
Yes.
And the same people who own those organizations are the same people who own banking and finance. So the TV channels and news channels will not go and say anything against their puppet masters,
Mm.
because immediately they'll go bankrupt.
Mm.
And they went to school together. So the CEOs of the big media conglomerates, they went to school, probably boarding school, where they had human sacrifice rituals.
Hmm.
um, they were mates, and they play squash and tennis every week together.
Yeah.
They like, oh yeah, like, are you going to renew your $5 million a month advertising revenue? Yes, and then they say, well, what can we say? Actually, they are given script what they are allowed to say and what they are not
Mm-hmm.
allowed to say. Everything has to run by them. So,
By their narrative.
if the news is not news, it's just the script.
Yeah, propaganda.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yes.
And so yeah, it's if you want to learn something, really, really learn, which is a genuine factual truth, listen and watch this podcast, share with your friends and family. Go find in this, in the notes, in the comment section, find Pixie's website, her podcast, her book, and follow Pix on her social media and everywhere else. And actually keep consuming this kind of content, because the for your health, it's not just the
Mm-hmm.
diet of what you put in your mouth, in your body, but it's also what actually more importantly,
What we
it's
feed our mind, what we feed
your
our brain.
in your mind and in your emotional state, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
because you can either then believe that you are limited, that you are, not deserving, you are not even worth living, kind of like on a hamster wheel. That's why I call it a rat,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Rat
you
race.
say, I'm the creator and co-creator of my own life through
Mm-hmm.
the choices I make. And you can only make good choices and right choices for your benefit and benefit of humanity if you are fully aware. Without awareness, you're gonna be sleeping through life.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been absolute honor to have you on my podcast, Pix. And
Oh, thank you for the honor and privilege,
uh,
Eldin. Much
one
appreciated.
couple of questions before we go. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's the impact you would like to leave on humanity while you are here?
Oh, again, a good question. I thought I wanted to positively impact 1 million people. Now, I know you touched on $1 million, and I thought 1 million people, and someone said to me, pretty much that's bullshit. You only need to impact one person, and then there's that ripple effect. So, my overall aim now, Eldon, is to leave people feeling better for having had a conversation or having met me. So just one person at a time. So make a global impact, but starting with myself and one person at a time.
Amazing. And of course, you are a teacher, lecturer, coach, and author, and you're doing all these amazing things. But I know that you also have these rituals and routines that you do for yourself daily. And I know also you have a coach and you have mentors. And so,
Hmm.
what does that look like for you? As in, what are these positive routines and rituals that you found beneficial for you?
Funny you say that because just before we jumped on live, and it is 9:30 in Australia PM, um, I actually posted from beautiful ocean swim in the morning, morning ocean swim to a podcast at evening. Yes, I'm very big on journaling, also meditation. It could be a guided meditation, could be a silent meditation, grounding, so going to the ocean, walking on the sand barefoot, who I associate with, such as amazing people such as yourself, Eldon. So, like I said, we feed our tummies daily. We need to feed our minds daily. Uh, yeah. So, and just stillness, gratitude, all the things that you do. I know you have a cold shower. I'm endeavoring to have more cold showers, but basically, I know you an avid, cold shower nut. So,
Yeah, a
but
bit like
yeah,
that.
just having those routines and just, I think the two biggest game changers for me, Eldon, have been meditation and gratitude.
All
And
right.
they're so simple and they're free, but
Yes.
people absolutely underestimate the power and the impact of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you touched on gratitude, people ask me, obviously you and I can give them advice from various angles and, can talk for weeks about, all the positive things.
Hmm.
But people say, if you can pick one thing, what's one advice, one kind of like a magic bullet, magic sauce, magic ingredient? I said, active state of gratitude. And they said, what do you mean active? Well, I said, it's a state of being. It's not
Being.
who it's not like you just feel gratitude for having received something, or somebody's about to give you something, you actually introspect daily using various tools to actually connect to your higher self, to connect to your heart. Because the default state of human being is a state of gratitude. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like some of the time that's your state of being, your permanent state of being. If you are in a state of fight or flight and all these other negative emotions, they are derived from stress hormones, from state of survival, fight or flight, state of stress,
Mm-hmm.
out of balance,
Cortisol,
out of,
adrenaline.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to ask yourself, which state am I in? And like, am I actually, do I have a skill set to self-regulate my nervous system, to activate my parasympathetic,
Mm-hmm.
the parachute, you gently glide into the ground. That's how you know. The sympathetic is the one which is the anger, resentment, guilt, jealousy, insecurity, feeling
Mm-hmm.
sorry for yourself, like, oh my God, we're gonna die, abandon ship. And the para is like the parachute, that's how you can distinguish which one is the which.
Coming into land.
Your default is the parasympathetic. That's the homeostasis, where it's a heart-centered emotions like um, unconditional love, love for life, joy for existence, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
kindness, courage, you know? And this is not because something is happening on the outside. This is all coming from within. So that's why, as you mentioned, journaling, introspecting, working tirelessly on yourself. And it's not like I'm going to arrive to a destination. It's a lifelong journey. No one is a finished article. We're all work in progress, where you thought you reached the highest level
Mm-hmm.
2023, then the 2024 came and you kept doing these things daily, and you were like, oh my God, there was another level and another. I never knew there's so many levels. And all of a sudden, you not only engage your conscious and subconscious mind, but also you most frequently engage your superconscious,
Super
which is
conscious.
when
Mm-hmm.
you have, basically, for people who don't understand what superconscious mind is, it's you are used as a conduit, as a channel for
Mm-hmm.
downloads of the information and the knowledge that you haven't even read, that you had not
Yeah.
even seen or experienced. And you then become an observer, observing yourself, saying the words, teaching the teachings, and you are in awe, like, uh-oh, where's this coming from? And you can only access your superconscious mind if you are in a particular
In the
state,
right
particular
state.
vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you got to be in active state of gratitude and
Yes.
go out there, serve humanity without wanting anything in return, unconditionally. And when you do that, the money is going to be a byproduct, will begin to land on your desk, land on your lap. People will want to work with you. People will want to do joint ventures. People will want to invest in you. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, people are watching you
Mm-hmm.
all of
Yes.
the
You are
time.
your brand. Everyone is watching.
People are watching
Yeah.
you. And I know
Mm.
this for a fact. I've known a guy for 4 years in my gym now.
Mm.
How I met
That
him?
was the other thing, Eldon, if I can just share. I didn't say gym, exercise. I go to the gym. If it's not every day, it's every second day, or do some walking. So
How often do
exercise
you
and
swim in the
obviously
ocean?
eating healthy. Pardon?
How often do you swim in the ocean? Every day?
Pretty much. I like to, yeah. Or go for a
That's a
walk and
form of
just ground.
exercise.
So yes.
Yeah, and I know back in the day in COVID time, you used to do guided meditations with group of people for
Till we
free.
got banned. Go
In
figure.
and it got banned. Yeah, crazy. I don't get it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so just to give context of how people are watching. So this gentleman came, oh, are you Eldin? I'm like, yes. He goes, I've been following you on social media. I mean, obviously I saw his face in the gym, but I didn't know who he was.
Yes.
He goes, my name is Peter. He goes, I know who you are. I follow you. I'm going to message you so you know who I am. And he messaged me through Instagram. And then we just became friends, chatting. And I said, what are you into? Because I'm in finance. Okay. All right. So then we started going for coffee sometimes as well as chatting at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Then he tells me, I want to have coffee with you. How is next week, Friday? This is like Christmas time, and now we're talking about 3rd of January. I said, yeah, that'll be cool. It's like we already had many kind of coffees and and he said, I want to share some amazing news with you. I was like, okay, He said, oh, I became a CEO of this conglomerate financial lending. He's always been in finance. So he became a
Mm-hmm.
huge CEO of this conglomerate. And he's telling me, and I was like, amazing, congratulations, Peter. And he ends up telling me, I want to hire you for your corporate training. I want you to create a program for me and my staff because this is what I want to change. This is what I want to do. And
Wow.
and I was
Forward-thinking CEO,
like,
spirituality, amazing.
okay, okay. No, but what he wanted to do is like, so he said, in my 25, 28-year career, I've had a lot of training. He used to work for JP Morgan and all that. He's like, oh, these
Mm-hmm.
companies, they've got budget for corporate training. But he said the problem is with all the training that they don't change behavioral patterns in the brain. People revert back to all this empowering
Old
negative.
pathways. Mm-hmm.
you know. And he said, what I want you to do is based on neuroscience, create programs so these things stick. When we do the change sticks. I said, yes, that happens 6 to 12 months. I said, I've got two programs, 6-month program or 12 months program. He said, let's start with the 6 months. And I start rolling the program next week.
Ooh,
That's it.
kudos to you.
So
Yes,
and
yes.
this is how what I want to say to people is that you keep doing you keep working on yourself, keep working on
Mm-hmm.
your craft. People are watching, you show up authentically, share your things for free. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are some things you share which you get paid, some things you share to inspire, go live, record a podcast, record this. And eventually people will come and pay
Your
you
vibe attracts your
six
tribe.
figures to go and train his staff for 6 months. That's it. It's a six-figure contract.
Fantastic.
And I
Congratulations,
don't have
Eldin.
to work for 6 months.
Yes,
I work for 68 hours for 6 months and I get paid six figures.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Tidy.
because the companies, they need to spend time earning money. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
time for training, so you can only train them 2, 3 hours a week.
Yeah, but you're making transformation.
Do you know what I mean? So
You're
you
empowering them.
give them the training.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize the issue, then you basically do the software uninstalling, and then you installing the new software, and you are
Mm-hmm.
forcing
Yes.
so the software solidifies and becomes automatic. That's the
So
process.
they unlearn to relearn.
Yes, unlearn and relearn. And so,
Yes.
and that's why it takes 6 months. It doesn't take a weekend, doesn't take a team building, away day, like one day.
Mm.
And so I think we have reached our hour in our podcast recording. Before
Mm-hmm.
we go,
Thank you.
Pix, where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media? Is there a podcast that you
Y-
can tell us where to find you? Do you have any offerings for our viewers, our listeners, like
I certainly do. And thank you
service?
again for the opportunity to have the human experience, Eldon. So, like you, I'm on socials. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and also LinkedIn under Pix Jonasson, my name. Um, and I will, if you said, allow me to plug, oops, if you can see my book, my recently published book, A Crash Course in Courage 7 Steps to a Mentally Fit You, available on Balboa, Amazon, and all globally. So that's fantastic. And I would love to I'm all about connecting. Actually, the 7 steps is an acronym of the letters of the word courage, and C stands for connect and communicate. So I would love to have a complimentary catch up with your audience. So they can schedule on my Calendly, on my diary. So I do have a website which is in the process of getting updated. But yes, and as you said, I have a podcast as well, the COURAGEpreneur, because I am all about courage. I was
Yeah,
only
I'll
£2
share
two when I was born
the
as well,
links in
so I was a
the.
tiny little bubba.
Thank you so much. I'll share all the links in the notes so people can actually connect with you. And your book is available as a paperback and Kindle, I believe, right?
Correct, yes.
All right, so they
Yes.
can choose
Yeah. It's not
whichever.
on Audible yet. It's not an
Yeah.
audio book.
The
It's
audio
yeah.
book takes time. Even I was hoping to have mine published as audio book before
Yeah.
Christmas, but now it looks like it's going to be by April, May. It takes time, because
It
obviously
does.
you're doing so many things, and yeah. So, and also the Audible, they're very pedantic. It has to be a certain format, certain,
Yes.
like they can refuse the audio file just for like a tiny little hairline mistake, and you have to start from
Mm.
scratch kind of thing, so yeah, thank you so much, Pix.
Thank you, Eldin,
It's been a
and
pleasure to
all the
have
very
you on.
best to your listeners.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take
All right,
care.
all right, all the best.